in his previous life, he never had experience with, a girl or anything like that. And it's funny because like at the end of it, like in the morning, he's like, hey, he's like, good morning. He says it in English.
That cracked me up. He says it in English.
He's like, good morning.
I was like, wait, am I watching this in dub? And I was like, oh, no, never mind. And then he look, even all the peasants, people are like suffering, and he's just like,
he's like, you need to go get some experience. That's what you need to do. And then he saws the people like that are hugging each other. He's like, I'm one of you now. It's like, yeah.
This is Geek Off The Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between.
What's up, everybody?
Here we go.
Yes, we're back again.
Amen.
As we always are.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's getting ridiculous now.
At this point?
Yeah. It's almost
so
like
dependable.
we can't be here every week
right.
now at this point. It's like harder to not be here.
And we're doing it for the people.
Yes, we are.
Because we care.
Yeah, yes, we are. Because my name's Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this is
Geek Off The Street.
Greatest podcast of all time. Talk about geek culture, pop culture, and whatever else we want. That's my favorite part.
Deal with it. Deal with it. We're tired of telling you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Get all your aggression out.
Yes.
Early shout out to Danny Evans. That's what he put when he shares our stories every week. He does it every week. Thank you, Danny. But he shared a story of last week with the Superman episode with "Deal with it" on there. We're gonna deal with it on the post. I was like, yeah. There's a real fan that listens to what we're talking about.
Danny
Evans, good guy out there.
Boy.
Yeah. But yeah, this week's no exception because we are talking about.
We're talking about some anime this time.
Yeah, all you anime fans out there. All you people out there that we've been handing cards out to and telling. We talk about geek culture, we talk about comic books, sci-fi, video games, and anime.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at our catalog, our backlog, not a ton of anime in there.
Not so much.
So we're making good on that promise and getting into some anime, some current stuff that I had never heard of.
Yeah. Shout out to CJ and CJ. Ian, actually, too. They were working together on putting the list together. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you, gents. They were both on the show before.
Yeah. Also, shout out to MZ Podcast. They gave us a list of anime to check out as well.
Oh,
some of those things crossed over because they
Nice.
had some choices, but they had some other things, too, that weren't on there.
Cool.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah, so we got a big list of anime to go through now.
Nice. Okay. I'm down.
I think I'm excited about.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm a little nervous, man. I was into anime like all my life, and I just kind of fell out of it for a while.
Same, yeah.
And I'm curious about some of the new stuff. I hadn't really heard people saying too much that got me really excited about anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, oddly, because the same. I kind of got pulled out of it when I started reading American comic books. Actually, so like in 2007, 2008, I had been watching anime up to then.
Yeah.
And then got into American comics. So like, oh, this is great. So I had kind of been away from anime for a long time.
Yeah, I think I've been reading maybe the wrong things or whatever or maybe I wasn't breaking up the monotony that I was going through because after a while, when you start looking at anime and reading the mangas, especially if you're sticking to a specific genre, you're gonna get stuck seeing the same things, the same tropes, the same story ideas over and over again. As creative as anime is, and it's like one of the most creative things out there. It mimics itself, you know. But I think it's also it's within that field, it's in that bubble. Like I said, if you are in a specific genre, that's what you're gonna get. Don't expect a whole lot outside of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's something I had to figure out.
Anime is simply pretty specific to what their genres or their story is, or their, I guess their gimmick, of that specific show. So, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue on with our journey along in anime, us covering all these brand new animes, you can check us out everywhere. We're the Gotspod on every social media platform, basically, except for Facebook. We're Geek Off The Street, and YouTube. We're also Geek Off The Street. Videos come out every Friday, 12 p.m. Audio podcast comes out everywhere as well on Wednesday. Yeah, nice. At 2 in.the morning for everybody worldwide.
There you go.
So that crosses over at most times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, man. On the day you can check it out. So please, and if you can, give us some 5-star ratings on iTunes and Spotify. It helps a lot. People see that.
And send money.
Also, send money. We'll have a Cash App set up here pretty soon for that.
Just for that reason.
Yeah, but anyway, so this week we're getting into an anime called Mushoku Tensei.
Yes.
One of us is talking about season 2, it seems like.
And one of us will be listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're basically covering the whole anime, what's out to now.
Yeah.
The season 2 part 1 ended this morning actually with episode 12.
Okay. So it was only 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For the first part,
okay.
then the second part will be another 12 episodes.
Okay.
I think starting whenever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. If you guys don't know what Mushoku Tensei is, Jobless Reincarnation.
Yeah.
Is also what it's called, or I think that's the whole name, right?
Yes.
That's the whole name of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tensei means.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I was reading some of the
Reincarnation,
translations, and I think that's what it breaks down to.
Yeah,
essentially.
basically.
Yeah.
So,
but before we get into that, are we gonna say
what we're drinking? And how we're doing this week?
Yeah,
we are gonna do that.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Did you knew?
Yeah, I was going there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was kind of.
I thought you were.
I don't know where
I saw
was
you
at.
flying away.
Yeah.
I saw you taking off, and I was like, look at that beautiful bird fly. Look at him go.
Let me clip those wings down real quick and bring them back down. No, I was gonna get back to that eventually, but I don't know where I was going as far as the sequence of things. But I know it's coming back to the drink. This is one of my favorite drinks. It is called the Gin and 7. If you didn't see the short that we did, there is a little bit of it's basically gin, lemon lime drink, Sprite or 7-Up, whatever one you want, and then a little bit of lemonade as well, and then a splash of lemon juice if you want a little extra citrus in there. And yeah, that's basically it. It's a really refreshing drink. I love this drink. It's one of my favorite drinks to drink, and it's been on my top list for a long time. Shout out to Kenji and his fiance Haley.
Oh,
Haley actually is the one who showed me this drink with lemonade in it, and kind of changed my life for a little while. So thank you guys.
Game changer.
Hope you're doing well. Kenji actually, who got these glasses for us.
Right?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
So cheers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that.
To them.
Tasty, refreshing.
It is good.
It's good. Yeah.
Over ice.
Perfect.
Muy bien.
Yeah. Man, I really like gin. I didn't start drinking until like 3 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
And really got into it. So
I think I really started getting into it once we started drinking on this show. That's when I really started getting into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
This is solid.
But how are we doing this week? I just got back from Disneyland a couple hours ago.
Very good. Very good.
Also went right at opening. Still missed rope drop. We're like 10 minutes shy of rope drop. But, got in there early, rode the Haunted Mansion with the Night Before Christmas theme.
Oh, cool.
So that's always pretty fun. Got some foods. And, had a good time overall.
Nice.
Yeah, otherwise, though, just Disneyland.
Right on.
I'm kind of spoiled to just be like, I just went to Disneyland. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're in Southern California, in all fairness to everybody. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And when you have a pass,
option.
It's like really, it becomes like a regular thing.
Right. Yeah. I've got a pass and I have not used it to its fullest. I've been quite a bit, but not to get my money's worth.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. The pass that you have too. So yeah.
Yeah. It's the good one.
The good pass, yeah. Not the poor people pass like I have. So, yeah. What about you, man? How you doing this week?
Good week. Worked. I had to work today. I saw a car accident go down right in front of me.
Crazy. Yeah.
Right in front of me. Had to get on the line, call the cops, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Do the stuff.
People running away. It sounds like crazy.
Hit and run. The guy. I don't know how much I can actually say right now, but they just, after the accident, these people that caused it just got up and walked away.
Crazy.
Didn't even put the car in park, everybody.
Yeah.
Didn't even put the car in park. It's like, we're done.
That's
and they
crazy.
bolted.
That was like something from a movie. That kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
Like that.
And exactly. And when you see something like that, you're thinking something out of a movie. Like, okay, there's something going on.
With those guys,
exactly, they did that. So I'm like, this.
Don't take this idea. This is the beginning of a movie, though. I feel like this is a great catalyst for a movie that starts off an adventure.
If you see something like that, holy,
start following these guys, and then it takes you down this crazy. Yeah.
I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, we can make a movie about it, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't take that idea.
Wait for it. Yeah,
it's coming.
Copyrighted.
As
of right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know how copyrights work. I don't think that's it.
If you say it on your show, it's automatically copywritten.
Oh, crap.
That's the law.
That I just made up.
Yeah.
Yes, but earlier this week, let me give a quick. Well, I don't want to step on this, but let me do this. Let me give a quick, an early shout out. To my goddaughter, Lariah. Yes, it is her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Lariah.
Yes.
She was on our show.
Yes, our Cobra Kai episode.
Yeah.
She and her older sister. Mm-hmm. And she's turning 14. Mm-hmm. Bless her heart. She is a precocious handful of a little girl.
Yeah,
but
very strong-willed, awesome. Sounds like.
She's a character.
Yeah.
A character, but she's awesome. So, so happy birthday. It's her birthday today, Lariah. Yeah, I'm going to, see you later.
Yeah.
All the good stuff. It was her mom's birthday a little while ago.
Right, yeah.
Mentioned that on the show. Good stuff. So, yes, good times. But what I did this week, earlier in the week, I went over and I tried Odin,
Yes.
for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had it before. Anybody that does not know what Odin is,
watch any anime that takes place in like Tokyo or any city.
Yeah, that's true. You'll see it.
Yeah.
I think the first time I ever saw it was I can't remember the name of the anime. I keep forgetting it. It's with these sextuplets, I believe. They I think there's 6, maybe there's 7 of them. They all look the same. It's a little bit of a raunchy show, but it's hilarious. And they were always eating Odin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I think the second time I saw it was in One Punch Man.
Oh, right.
And when I think Moomin Rider was treating
Saitama,
yeah, to Odin because he just got promoted to rank C, or promoted to rank B out of rank C, I believe.
Okay.
He just got promoted to rank B, and he treated him to Odin. So you see the Odin there, and you see the stuff that's kind of like frying. It looks like or kind of bubbling or whatever. So I didn't know what it was, and then you see it again. If anybody that's a One Piece fan and up to date on One Piece, there is Odin comes into play in the latest arc in the anime. So I won't spoil it for anybody. But yeah, so I always wanted to try it. So I actually went over to Trent's house.
This guy's house.
And hung out with his mom, his dad. Your parents are awesome.
They're all right.
I was about to say that about you. I was like, your parents, I like them. You're okay.
But it's like the thing though. You see me all the time. So you're like, I'm a little tired of you. You met my parents one time. Of course they're gonna have their best face forward.
I feel like I still stick by my statement. I stick by it for just the opposite reason. I've known you a long time, and I've had a chance to weigh it out. I'm like, no, I like your parents more than you. Okay. No offense. No offense.
Based off of just one. Okay. All right. One meeting. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But they did feed me though.
Yeah. My parents are awesome. They're pretty awesome.
They're very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And yes, I had Odin for the first time. And essentially what Odin is, and you can chime in on this, there is a broth that's like it's like chicken, mushroom.
It's like a fish mushroom.
A fish stock kind of.
Yeah, fish shiitake mushroom. Kombu stock, yeah.
Okay.
Basically. Kelp or the dried.
Seaweed. So there's that stock, and then inside of it you put in essentially like chopped radish, daikon radish, a specific kind of radish, and fish cakes.
Yeah, mostly fish cakes. Mostly fish cakes. But we threw some eggs in there.
Yeah, mix it up some meat and everything.
Meat, pork and the beef, which was also good.
That was great. That was great too. But never had it before, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was delicious. I remember I was like, I was kind of joking, so I'm gonna try to save some for you and your dad.
Yeah.
But I was like,
probably not though.
I might eat all of this. Let me not be that guy. Let me not go to their house and eat all their food. It was delicious. I didn't know there were that many different like styles of fish cakes as well.
Yeah. I had Odin for the first time maybe 3 years ago because I never had it either. It's not really popular here. My mom said she wasn't a big fan of it when she was a kid. And then she kind of made it recently, like within the last 3 or 4 years, and she decided she did like it. And I was like, nice, I like it too. This is delicious. So she made it for us, and I was like, this is really good. So so I'm new to it as well, but very, very good.
Man, I loved it. I loved it. Like every single piece was like perfect.
Good tasting, different, but tasty,
and still good. So I would love if there was a restaurant or something out here.
They did that, that
would be great. And then wherever I try it next, if they open up a restaurant here, I go to Japan. Wherever I go next, it'll be my second favorite. It'll be my second favorite Odin that I've had, more than likely. But this will be my first, 100%, always and forever. So So and then your mom also made like the red bean.
The red bean mochi.
The red bean. Okay,
the red bean mochi soup.
Yeah. Now for anyone that doesn't know, red beans is kind of it's a bit of a dessert type.
Yeah, it's like a sweet bean. Yeah, red bean.
It's sweet.
It's paste usually, but
and it's not as sweet as a lot of the desserts we have in America. It's not that sweet. It's much more subtle. But it's also got flavor to it as well. It's not just like a ton of sugar. Thank goodness.
Have you ever had the yanpons? Like it looks like a bread roll with the red bean in it. Like those are like all over like the Japanese markets and stuff. That's one of my favorites. It's delicious. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. It was great. And then I think the very first time I ever saw that was, I want to say I saw it in Naruto. I think Anko, the Black Ops, the one that was Orochimaru's student.
Oh, okay.
I think she was drinking some at the. She had some in a cup, I believe.
Okay.
And she was eating her favorite thing was like eating like a dango. Anyone that knows Naruto, you'll remember it. Eating dango on a stick and then drinking the
red bean.
Yeah, the red beans.
Which is basically the ingredients is mochi and for that.
Okay, so she's a mess. So she was all about
so
it.
Eating them separately, but yeah.
And then I saw it again. Anyone that's current on One Piece, there was an arc where there's a character called Big Mom or Big Mama, and she goes like berserk when she has a taste, when she wants to eat something.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like dangerous. Like if something snaps in her. It's almost like Wolverine and his berserker.
Oh, yeah.
Rage is a berserker barrage kind of thing. So anyways, long story short, too late. The character like was eating like this red bean and mochi thing, and she was like, scarfing it down. And again, it looked great, So again, go watch One Piece. The Wano arc if you really want to take a look at it. And I was curious about it, and then she just like all of a sudden like out of nowhere it's like I've got this too,
to have it.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Because that's the next thing I wanted to try the most. And she just like produced it like magic, and it was delicious as well. So it was a great evening. Great, met your parents, loved them, they're awesome. Had a chance to try some great food I hadn't tried before that I was curious about. So I've got like a list, and so now my list of Japanese food that I want to eat is getting checked off slowly but surely. So
well, let me check another one off for you. Well, this is from Disneyland. This is our favorite bread roll.
Very nice. I love these bread rolls. I don't know what they're called, but they are actually really good,
really tasty.
It's like this. It's like a croissant, flaky, kind of.
And this is like a poor person food in the Star Wars on Jakku in the Star Wars universe. But that's delicious. Man, I'll if that was a poor person food, I would eat that every day.
Let them eat cake. Yes, and also, please.
Speaking of dongos,
all right.
Stop by the Japanese market today. Got you a pack of dongos.
Dang.
Now these are like one of my favorite snack foods, desserts here.
Okay.
Like I grew up like going to like the little Japanese festivals and stuff in Orange County with my mom.
Right, you always see them whenever you see anything anime related. You see
any
them
anime festival, like side stand, these are always there. Even when I was in Tokyo, I would see them in like side stand. The first time I went to Tokyo, as an adult, I stayed in this Airbnb that had like it's like an alleyway that got to the train, and that we got there at night, so there's nothing out there. And then when we came out the next morning, it was just lined with people. These are all just people's storefronts.
Oh, wow!
And they opened up and just sell snacks and foods and stuff. And so we just tried things out, and they had a bunch of these dongos
that's
there
cool.
too. And they're so good, man. They're like some of my favorite foods.
Well.
You gonna dive into one now?
I'm gonna dive into it right now because this is one of those things that I've always wanted to try. I'm gonna get the one with all the because I think I remember seeing like not Naruto, Luffy. Eating some before too.
Probably, yeah.
It's got the like salty.
Yeah, sweet, salty.
The texture is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very like gooey.
Yeah, it's basically a mochi ball on a stick with some like sweet kind of soy sauce, sweet.
Yeah, there's
a little bit of maybe teriyaki-ish texture to the flavor, or to the sauce, but
there's a slight. And then again, this is good because it's not overly sweet. It's really subtle. It's not like a whole bunch of sugar's been dumped into it.
Is everything you hoped for when it comes to like
I said, I didn't know what to expect, but this is good, and the sauce is really interesting because it's I don't know how to accurately describe it because there's like hints of soy sauce.
Yeah. It's not like overly soy sauce, but there is a little bit in there. Yeah, for sure.
But it's still it's a mix of sweet. I mean, let me put it this way: if anybody likes like something that's sweet and salty, then you'll like this. And this hits that perfect.
Proof that Japanese people put soy sauce on like everything for the most part. Yeah, it's in most foods. Yeah. So on the next one, if you can save it. If you can save yourself on the next one you eat, maybe put it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you get a good, like chewy, a little bit warmer, and the sauce will be a little bit more fluid. I think it'd be good too. Okay. So yeah, try it that way. Yeah.
On the third one?
If you can.
You don't think I can resist eating a second one?
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't think you can resist eating another one now. So yeah, depending on how many you're gonna eat, or if you can give me a sister, or whatever, I don't know. Just save at least warm one of them up.
Did you want one?
I mean, I can smell it from here, and it smells delicious.
want one?
But I would like you to enjoy them though. As well.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy them.
Okay, well then I'm gonna take one because these are really good.
Get one.
Yeah.
They're again. I mean, I'm a mochi fan. It's so like gooey.
Mm-hmm. I can't really like, explain what kind of dessert this is. If somebody's never had it before.
Yeah.
A lot of Midwest fans. I'm not sure if you can find mochi in the next corner store.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's almost like the texture is somewhat reminiscent to like almost like raw dough.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. This is really good. Thanks for sharing one with me.
You're welcome. And I told you I could resist. This one didn't count, everybody, because I didn't want Trent to eat alone.
Yeah. I don't know.
Man,
this is pretty good. Maybe you don't have to warm it up. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds silly, but it's almost it's fun to eat.
Yeah.
It like I said, the texture of it is so crazy.
Yeah. If you think about like during a festival, it's like a fun like during the summertime or a spring festival, you're running around having a good time, and then you'd have one of these. Yeah. It just kind of goes into the whole thing. Like, it's a big experience. Yeah, because they're fun to eat, but they're also really good. Yeah.
And this is always in anime. Whenever I'm watching, this is perfect. We brought this in today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whenever, I mean, they didn't have it in this anime, but I mean, you always see them whenever there's a festival. You see them always eating. They've always got one of these sticks with the mochi balls on it and the sauce on it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you just really wonder what is that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because if anybody out here doesn't know what the heck that is, unless you've been lucky enough to go somewhere where we can try it. Yeah. Crazy. But let me tell you right now, for all the people that are into anime that I know if you're into anime, you have seen this. Yeah. And you've never tried it. It is very good. Yeah. I am not disappointed.
I'm not sure where all of you are located. Yeah. But if there's a Japanese market nearby, Tokyo Central, Wajimaya, whatever, if you have one, most major cities will have and then you'll probably find this in the dessert section. Or in the bread section, wherever they're selling the bread or the whatever the day bread they made. Yeah, you'll find it there usually. Yeah, so find it, enjoy it. That's a dango for you.
And then you throw it into a wall and make the leaf insignia.
Exactly. So satisfied? Did that make you happy you tried it?
I'm very happy I tried it. Yeah. Earlier today too, I was at the Ontario Mills Mall. Mm-hmm. And I saw, because your parents mentioned, what was it? Like it was the fish shaped.
Oh, the taiyaki.
Taiyaki.
Yeah. With the red.
It's some sort of fish shaped bread. Yeah. And it's got like red bean or something kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of like a pancake or waffle type. Yeah. Yeah, texture.
I was just walking through Ontario Mills, and I just happened to turn and I look, and I see like a fish, and I'm like, what? And then I look up and I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
This is literally what we were talking about last week.
Yeah, and it was right there. And they weren't very expensive. I only got like 2 of them.
Did you get just the red bean one, or?
I got the red bean, and then I tried a custard one as well. Yeah. The custard one was good. Oh, nice. And these things are hot. Yeah, they're hot. Warm, so be aware of that. They are hot, but I definitely like the red bean one better. Maybe I used to have a serious sweet tooth, but now I think I'm more into
trying to level out a little bit.
Yeah. Because it's always just like sugar. You know what I mean? If how we do things out here is just add more sugar to it, make it sweeter, not more flavorful. Right. There's a difference. Right. Yeah. So I tried it with the red bean was definitely my favorite one. That one was really good. And I only got 2 of them, and it wasn't expensive. It was like 2 of them was like less than $5. So,
nice.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah. Next time I'm gonna stock.
Did they have ice cream there also?
They did have ice cream.
Yeah, I tried with the ice cream too. That's pretty good.
Okay,
that's a good little combo. Yeah,
I saw somebody walking away later. She had one of the fish, and she had it in a cup of ice cream.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, they just jam it in there, so you can have like both. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a cool like back and forth.
Yeah, especially if one's hot and one's cold. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
So it's tasty. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saving that, right? That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
I mean. It's at room temperature, so I think it tastes fine the way it is. If you want to throw it in the microwave, you can, but
so eating it warms a little is the better. Was the
I wouldn't say better because it's kind of like I mean, I don't know if this pizza's a good example. So like cold pizza and warm pizza, it's both good in different ways.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it'll have a different texture, a little easier to chew, but I mean, it'll taste just as good, I think. So
Wow.
yeah. I mean, your choice.
I feel like I want. Well, you know what? I feel like I'm gonna have to eventually go and just buy some because I'm feeling like you see something cool, like you want to share it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like the people I want to share it with. But that's not enough to share with other people.
No, this is that you could have eaten all 4 by yourself. That's a one person.
Oh, is it?
Snack.
Oh, well, now I feel even better about myself.
For you and me, I'm like, people in Japan probably will have one. Be like, oh, I'm full.
Oh, yeah. That's for us.
Yeah, for us. Yeah.
That's greedy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Yeah,
loved it.
I'll
have to get some later.
Yeah, Tokyo Central, man. They have them. So
Okay.
one right here in Yorba Linda is when I went to. So
okay, right on.
Yeah,
all right.
pretty solid. All right.
Nice.
So let's get into the show for a little bit,
Yes,
right? This
let's do
Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. And you guys that haven't heard of it, it's a show about a guy in Japan that dies and is reincarnated in this fantasy world, basically.
Yeah. And he's a bit of a loser.
Yeah.
And I say that, with disclaimers and whatnot, but he's someone that has had a very bad time of it in his life, and some of it's of his own. He was victimized, but bullied. Also some of it's of his own, his own choosing, his own machinations as well. He just didn't,
chose to become,
chose to kind of become a recluse or whatnot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like you're saying, he ends up dying. It's your typical, I can't remember the name of the genre, like Issei or something like that. I know CJ would know if he was here.
Yeah.
But there is a genre, and anybody that knows anything about anime or is getting into anime should probably know this. There is a genre of being, sucked into another world. You know what I mean? There's a big reincarnation kick. Somebody, you die.
A lot of these.
A lot of them. And again, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like that's what kind of turns me off. It's like you're doing this again. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a genre. So.
Yeah. The specific genre and is really popular right now. I mean, that genre is popular from what I can tell.
Right.
But this show is also really popular. It came out in 2021, I think.
Recently.
I guess it dethroned One Piece that year for popular animes, like in the top list of animes in Japan. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that became like a breakout hit. Which I guess we'll get into maybe why we think it could be. But yeah, that's basically the premise. And he grows up in this. He's reborn as a baby, but he's aware the whole time. He still has
who he was.
Yeah, who he was and who he is. He's like he has an adult mind in a baby's body.
Yeah.
Growing up, so he's aware like the whole time. And he's transported into this fantasy world where magic is real and monsters and goblins and dragons and elves and all these things are here. There. And he grows up in this world and becomes a really like world-class mage. It seems like,
Right.
And that's basically the premise of the show. If you haven't seen it, spoilers starting right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get off right off the bat by saying that this isn't my type of show, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Because of the genre, or?
I'm not sure why. I've never really liked fantasy anime.
Ah, okay.
I've tried to watch a couple like Scrapped Princess or like even like the medieval ones. I just can't really get into.
Okay.
Attack on Titans is an exception.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It is medieval-ish, time period-ish, but it's a very different story. But like fantasy genres, I've never really seen an anime that really got me into it. I think I like more modern stuff, like modern day stuff. And it could be that. Also, like I don't know what the tone of this show was or what it took me a while to really figure out like what's the tone or what's the point of the show. Like, I'm not really sure what's going on. What's the attention grabber other than this guy being reincarnated in a different world. So I was trying to kind of figure out what the hook was. And I think that's the hook, but like that wasn't like a huge hook for me. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but like animes do this thing where they'll have like that's the hook, right? He's reincarnated into another world. And then it doesn't really get back into that so much. It's more about him learning magic and this and that.
And it being kind of like overpowered.
Yeah, it kind of becomes a regular anime from that point on, with just him with a voiceover here and there.
Right.
About from this older guy in this child's body. Right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the thing. I was like kind of trying to really understand what the point of the show is. I mean, I'll get back more into that, but Yeah, that was my first thought about the show when I started watching it, and maybe I've been away from anime for a long time.
Yeah,
like saying that again, but yeah, maybe it wasn't really for me. I don't think. But was there anything you wanted, opening thoughts or positives right off the bat?
Yeah, I think right out of the gate, I thought the animation looked great. The animation style was fantastic. The artwork was well done all the way through it.
Oh yeah,
so I like that. I like that it's not based on a manga. It's actually based on like I guess like a light novel, they call it, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a little bit different, and I feel like you can tell it as you watch this thing because it is. Saying it's epic in scale is it might be kind of misleading to say that. But it doesn't hit like a normal anime does in the sense that there are some pretty big time skips, or I should say there are multiple time skips. Within this series,
it takes part of his whole life so far from this to
from when he was born. I think he's like maybe 12. I don't even know if he's 15 by the end of the first season.
By the end of the first season. By the end of the second season, he's 16.
Okay. Yeah, so a few more years go by.
But it's basically his whole life, 16 years of his life.
Yeah.
Which is and they do take time more or less in those portions of his life. Yeah. Which is that was cool to see that scale of how far they're telling the story.
Yeah. And again, I take this with a grain of salt, but in that sense, it started to remind me a little bit of Lord of the Rings in the sense that they were going on this long journey. It wasn't like something that they just went and did, over the weekend
3 months
or
a
month or whatever.
A
few weeks. Yeah,
this is years.
It was years. Yeah, they were there. Something happens where the main character and one of his friends gets separated from their family or whatnot. And they're basically end up on a whole other continent. They've got to fight to survive, and they make friends and enemies. Along the way.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool, because they took him away from his family first to go tutor Aerys and also become a better swordsman with Ghislaine, right?
Yeah.
But then that big transportation thing happened and sent everybody to different places.
Right. Everybody got scattered.
Yeah.
Everybody got scattered.
Now he's even further away from his goals.
Right.
I did this for this. I can't even do that now because now I'm over here.
Yeah.
And now I just gotta learn how to survive over here. It was kind of a lot of cool, big wrenches that were thrown into the main character's life.
Right. And it was about him trying to, keep pushing forward and whatnot. Speaking of that, though, one of the things that I liked about it too is I liked that I feel like compared to other animes, there were consequences to their actions a lot more. I feel like sometimes in an anime they might say or do something and they leave it at that. Like for example, one of the big ones. I mean, there's a few actually, but one of them is when he's reunited with his dad, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's talking to his dad, and he's telling him this, where have you been? And he's like, oh, I've been over here. I've been doing this. I've been doing that, and doing this, and doing that, and that, and that, and that. And while he's telling the story, they show images of his dad, and you see his dad kind of grimacing, and I'm like.
That's weird.
Okay, that's interesting. That's not the look I was expecting, kind of thing. And they show it briefly, but it pays off later, and it turns out that his father is mad at him because one, his son has always been extremely talented because he's a kid with the mind of a 34-year-old man or 30+ man, but he is upset that his son was off and having this, great adventure, having a great time, hanging out with this beautiful girl and just going on adventures and all this kind of stuff. But at home, his family has been destroyed. His mother, you don't know where his mother is.
Still don't know where his mother is.
Still don't know where his mother is.
We know where she's at now.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, but they still haven't found her yet.
Still haven't found her.
Yeah.
So you don't know where, at that point in time, he had no idea where his mother was. This is the same event that scattered them in the first place, right? Yeah. So this has been at least 2 years or a year and a half to maybe 2 years, I think, by the time he finally makes it back home. And he's talking to his dad, and he's, talking about, he's just, hey, I had a great adventure. And we were on that adventure. We were there with him,
we're part of that,
going through all that and, you know, he came out on top. He had some ups and downs, but he came out on top of it.
Yeah.
But then he comes and he's telling the story to his dad. And it's like, you've been doing all this fun, fantastic stuff. I've been back here looking for your mom who's missing, your younger sister who's missing, and your other younger sister who's missing.
Yeah.
And all your family and friends are all gone.
Yeah.
And you've been out there having a good time and partying. You know, I like that there were consequences to that. Another great one, and this is one that CJ brought to my attention. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's it. Where they had like their little, he had his own band of adventurers or whatever, and then they saw this other band of adventurers that were kids, and they were in trouble. They were like in serious trouble. And then Rudy is like, hang on a second, let's you know, because again he's thinking like from his immature 34-year-old mind. Is thinking like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hang back, because I think he's like, this is what I always see in like anime, or this is what I see in like, you know, video games or whatever he was saying.
Oh yeah, because he's trying to like take advantage of the situation.
He wanted to jump in there at the last minute,
to
save
be
the day,
and have more of a leverage kind of situation.
Exactly, make us look that much better, all that kind of stuff. But in a real life situation, you wouldn't do that, right? And what happens is one of these characters, while they're having this conversation, something comes flying overhead and lands next to him, and it's like the top half of one of the kids that they were supposed to be going to save. And it was like, oh, we probably should have gone sooner. Like one of the other guys was saying, and
Rudyard.
Whatever his name. I don't know how to say his name. That's what he was saying, because he's all about protecting kids, but he was listening to Rudy. So then they go and they save him, and they take out these, you know, these bad creatures or whatever. And then he turns around and he grabs him like, why did you have me do that? Why didn't you have me go save them, kind of thing? So there were some good consequences that I like that they didn't let get away, which I think a lot of other animes typically tend to do. So that was, I liked that there were some consequences that they had.
And then he showed that he was very talented, but also he was flawed though.
Exactly. He was not perfect. Not as perfect as he thought he was. You know? He thought he was smarter than everybody else. And again, it's one of those things where he's this guy from this advanced, you know, society, advanced world. He's a 30-something-year-old man, and he's hanging out with, you know, people in a less cultured world necessarily, less technologically advanced world. So you naturally you feel like you kind of have the advantage. You know, so and it did not play out that way. And there are some consequences. So I thought that was a cool thing too.
That was pretty sweet.
I don't know how much I like this. I mean, this show is not a show for kids. Not at all. It's not a show for kids. And it's not that it's necessarily extremely gory. And they don't show any nudity or anything in it, but there is a lot of, and even innuendo is not the right word, because it's kind of in your face what you know, what's
clear what's going on.
What's going on or what just happened, kind of thing. You know, when you see someone like grabbing their clothes and and leaving, you know, a maid or something leaving the room or whatever, but you know, you hear the sounds, and then he gets up there and she runs out, and then there's the guy standing there, the grandfather standing there, you know, with the mom and the dad. You know, there was always you could kind of hear it. It was hinted at quite a bit. So it's very, I don't want to say raunchy. That's not the right word. Bawdy is not the right word, but I don't even know what I would rate this. I would rate this R, or, you know, I wouldn't rate it PG-13. I don't think. It's for sure a little higher than that even too. It is. It is. I see how it can be problematic outside looking in. Like if you were to walk in with your kid watching this, you'd be like, "What the hell are you watching?" But at like when you're watching it, you know, it's a coming of age story. It is. It's about really coming into who you are and kind of understanding. And that's something else I want to get into too. But so there's a lot about that, and that's I guess one of my positives. It was weird in some ways because they're very young people. I mean, obviously it's a fantasy world. It's different, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But technically in that world they're considered adults at 15, for example. So there's that aspect to it. It's kind of there are some moments this is a little weird. They're really young, but I mean, but you know,
we were all young once too.
Yeah,
you know, those thoughts were in our minds all the
Yeah.
time too. Anyway, so but what I did like is that when he finally got what he wanted at the end of the first season, it freaking broke him.
Right.
Like it completely broke him, and it has like long-term effects through the second season.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, it was like all he's like, oh, I just want to get laid. I just want to get laid. This is all that I meant, because I never got laid, because, you know, I was a nervous shut-in in my original life.
In his past life, yeah. Right.
Yeah, and so now I finally get the chance to get laid, and then it does, and it like freaking breaks him. It breaks his heart. He can't function after that, you know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
know,
that was,
I know a lot of the second season is him dealing with that.
Recovering from that, which is which is cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of, that was a cool way to tell the story without being like, oh, this is just some pervert made this show. When really it's like it does seem that way.
It does,
but it's for a good reason, though. I think it's like, it ends up being for us like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. And then he's an adolescent kid, you know, like what 12, 13-year-old kid isn't only thinking about that,
right?
You know
And and that's a very good point too, because I don't know if I necessarily thought of that exactly, but that is very true. Most young people, you know, especially guys when they're that age, that's what they think.
Yeah,
but that was also. And I'm just gonna dip into a negative. Is that was and man, it's hard to say that it's a negative, because maybe it's a cultural thing, right? Maybe it's something that, from my perspective, it came off as a little cringy that this guy that sure he is in the body of at this point in time in the first season 12-year-old or whatever the case may be, but he had the mind. He was a 34-year-old man, right? So for him to be a quote unquote 34-year-old man, and into like pursuing like this girl that I think at the time when he meets Era, she's
like 11 or 12.
Yeah, 11 or 12,
10,
and
right?
yeah,
or
yeah,
9, 10,
right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like now, I would completely accept a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, boy, kind of, so to speak, kind of perving out on a girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or especially a girl that's just a little bit older than him or whatever, that kind of thing. Makes complete sense. It again, it hits a little bit different. Yeah. When that it's like a grown man. Yeah. That is just inside of a kid's body. Right. And he's using that kid's body, so to speak, to do some really really strange,
even kind of like sound like manipulating, because this is a younger person you mentally. And
true that. True.
You can. I don't know.
That's a good point.
You can see it from that point of view also. But you're taking advantage of the situation because you're clearly further along.
Right. That's
this person
always the argument.
Which is also very questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I do. I can see that too. Like that's that's questionable. I knew I was like kind of like, ooh, this is uncomfortable watching.
Yeah. Exactly.
This, I mean?
Yeah.
Some of those scenes towards the end of the season too. Yeah. The first season, But then, like, taking a step back, I was like, I get what the purpose of all this was.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Because even as a whatever 34-year man, if that's what his age, I think he was in his 30s probably. Yeah. For him to get his heart broken, he's finally got what he was. I guess probably sure in his mind he was withheld from him.
Exactly. Yeah.
As a person in his life. In Tokyo.
What was that in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Like when Cameron finally does get laid, she would have given him what he had built up in his mind to be the end all be all of human existence.
Yeah,
there's that line that that Ferris Bueller is saying to us, the audience, the fourth wall break kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And it's something like that. Yeah, because as when he in his previous life he never had experience with a girl or anything like that, and it's funny because like at the end of it, like in the morning. Yeah, he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Good morning." He says it in English. Yeah,
that cracked me up. He says it in English. Yeah,
he's like, "Good morning."
I was like, "Wait, am I watching this in dub?" And I was like, "Oh, no, never mind." Yeah, and then he look. Even all the peasants, people are like suffering, and he's just like, "Yeah."
He's like, "You need to go get some experience. That's what you need to do." And then he saws the people like that are hugging each other. He's like, "I'm one of you now." It's like, yeah. So he was all jazzed and excited, and
But then you get to a real, depending on if you're a good person or not, like you get to that real, the connection also, which is also important,
Right.
It's not just the act of getting laid. Like that's not the only important thing. If you're a good person, there's some deviants out there, and you guys know who I'm talking to. Yeah. But but like for an actual good person, which I truly think that this guy actually is. more or less a good person.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
In some ways, in a bad situation in his real life, or but also not a strong-minded person. Also, in that moment as well. But overall, I think he's a good person.
Yeah, I think what kind of got him in trouble in the first place in his regular life was he tried to do the right thing, and he paid a price for it.
Right. Yeah.
And he never recuperated from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I thought it was great too in that second to the last episode. Where he is dealing, like you're saying, dealing with the consequences of everything that he thought he wanted, he got, and then it like you said, it broke him.
Yeah.
And I liked how it kept kind of going back and forth to. It showed like people that were in his party and how they're kind of like moving on and they're kind of moving forward, like the Spiriud guy. With Ridius or whatever.
Oh yeah, Rudyard the Superd.
The Superd, yeah. That he was kind of like talking to people, and he didn't, because he always needed Rudy to be his his liaison or his middle guy, kind of thing, into getting into cities and blah blah blah. And he was doing it on his own now. He was he's making a connection with people, and he was like, hey, I'm a Spiriud or a Spiriud, whatever.
Yeah.
Aren't you afraid? He's like, nah, you saved me. You're all right. So he was doing it for himself at this point, right?
And then, he kind of was able to stand on his own feet, sort of.
Exactly. In that sense, he's one of the strongest guys out there.
Yeah.
And that fight with that Austrio guy, that was awesome. That was like, okay, now I want to see this.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, now we're starting to shift a little bit. This is getting kind of exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it too.
Yeah. And man, just to go back to the animation, the shift in the animation in the fight scenes,
it geared up.
I was like, oh shit! I was trying to I was like, damn, this is a different show at this point. Even with like Eris's fight scene, it's real sharp.
And they were all getting better. They're all getting stronger. But that guy, that
Ostrich guy,
as great as
as great as Rudyard was.
He got his ass
beat.
Which is like that was awesome. That was awesome. What was I going to say?
Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I did the same thing too.
Yeah.
I was saying something about getting onto about him. Oh yeah, all the characters were moving forward. Essentially, that's the point I was making. And I think even Eris, I think they showed her later too, and she was they were all kind
of Slayer or whatever.
They're all kind of moving forward. And Eris, she had a tough decision to make. She can stay and be a concubine, which is like, or why would you even pitch that idea? Nah, that's not even on the table. But anyways.
Because she seemed like she loved being out adventuring throughout the whole story.
Right.
Like, she was just loving it.
Like, she loved Ghislaine or whatever her name was.
Ghislaine,
yeah. I mean, she loved hearing her stories and her adventure stories, and she was all about going out and doing, living that life. It was almost like what was the name of that? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that one character that was always listening to the bad guys' stories. The main character, the girl that was man, I hated that chick. Just because, man, you ruined everybody's life with your greed, with your selfishness. That's a whole other movie, guys. We'll talk about that later. But it was like her, like she listened to her mentor's stories of being a bandit and being out on the run, and she was this princess in a sense. That had, so her and Eris were like that in the same sense, and she wanted to be free. She had to be free, so she left it all behind. She literally chopped off all of her hair, left it to, I don't know if he took it or whatever, but seems like it kind of left, that part to him, and she
left,
she left, But everybody was striving or thriving, I should say. And he was just becoming more and more withdrawn and more sullen to the point where they were showing his previous self. They never showed. I don't think they showed that much of his previous self.
Just flashes of it. Yeah,
just flashes of it. But he regressed so much that the audience was seeing, and I think that's why they did it. Obviously, is that they showed him as his original self. Like it's almost like he regressed so far back that he was almost that guy again. And that's why they showed all the crap that he went through, where he tried to be a good guy and he got stuck and he never got over it, never recuperated, and all that kind of stuff.
Or even worse, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's kind of like, it was almost like you're better not knowing at this point versus knowing. So now that he knows, he's even worse than he was, I think.
I heard you saying. I heard you saying. Yeah.
And what was crazy, because like there's good signs about that, because would continuously, like, you think he's the leader and he's running things and bringing everybody up with him, but really everyone was surpassing him, and he is kind of being the same, if not going
that's a good
back
point.
to
You
was.
really didn't see him like really progressing that much.
And then also whenever he would have those visions with the man god, he was his old self.
Yeah, he was always his old self.
That was another clear sign of who he saw himself as still. Even at that point. So I was like,
clearly.
this is kind of cool. Like you still see the things holding him back.
Yeah.
And that ends up like taking him down at the very end.
So
that's pretty great. Yeah, for sure.
That was it was pretty good, storytelling.
It was good for the character, good character development. Yeah. And then season 2, I know you didn't see it, but there's I
kind of know how it plays out.
Yeah, there's some cool things in season 2. It's only 12 episodes so far. There's another 12, I think, after that. There are a couple of cool revelations in there. Do you care too much about spoilers? Or
no, go for it. Yeah.
You meet you see that masked girl that was with Osterd that killed, and so she ends up being at the school, the university, and he meets her there, and she's also from his world. So that's kind of big.
Like his original world.
Yeah, his original world. Yeah. So she didn't die though. She came as she was, as like she ends up being the girl. I think the girl that was on the side of the street when the truck came. It's that
really?
Same girl. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
And so she ends up getting transported as is, but she has no powers though, no abilities or anything. But she can do like the teleportation thing.
Interesting.
And so then she's trying to figure out what happened, and he's trying to figure out. And so she meets him, and there's like it's kind of cool because there's that, and there's another part where like he's like, she holds up the first thing he's afraid because she was with the guy that killed him, basically. But she like ends up holding up this paper that has Japanese writing on it. She's like, do you understand this? And then it's like, oh shit, and he's like. And then she's like, and then she'll have another piece of paper. Like, do you know these 2 names on here? Are you one of these people? And he's like, no, I'm not one of those people. And she's like, okay, so you understand it though. So you're from my world.
Wow.
And so like, you find out she's from another world, but there's also 2 other people that are like important to maybe the story here that also came over. So we're not really sure, and she doesn't really know anything about that Oster guy either, that dragon guy. She's just with him. He found her when she teleported there. And it's like it's crazy. And then she came at the same time as the big teleportation thing that sent everybody everywhere else.
Really? And
so she thinks maybe she had something to do with that, or whoever brought her had something to do with that, and they're kind of figuring out like, oh, we were summoned here. Somebody summoned us here, and so it kind of unravels the mystery a little bit more. Like, okay, now we're getting into the meat. The actual
what's really going
interesting
on here.
part. It took a while to get there. But overall, the story, that season 2 it's okay. It's a little more about his relationship with Sylphie. And basically curing his his problem. Which is kind of funny, but very anime-ish, I feel like, to me too,
at that point. Okay, I hear you.
So but anyway, that's basically just season 2. And it's pretty, there's some cool things unraveled, but it was okay.
Right on.
Kind of okay to me. But anyway, were there any more positives we had to get into about that?
One last one I'll throw out is I liked that they kind of did something where they would show a story from one person's perspective at one point, and then they would show it, from somebody else's, and they're like, there was a point where they were like crisscrossing each other.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was really cool. I like seeing that. There was a point where Roxy, Rudy's teacher, she saw Eris and
Richard,
they were training or whatever, and she sees them, and Rijud or whatever sees them,
her,
right, and she ducks and she hides, and you think it's just like, oh, it's
some
whatever,
person
right? It's just whatever.
Them,
and then later on, you see the story from her perspective. Like a few episodes later, you see the story from her perspective, how she was going on her own little, adventure, and she was following them, and she sees them, and there's another part like in that earlier episode where I think Rudy's walking on the street and Roxy runs right past, and I'm like,
that's her.
She's right there.
And he completely
barely
misses her.
And then they show it again, and again, it's
from
like from the different perspective. So I did like seeing that. A lot of the characters, the extras, are they're your typical anime-ish kind of characters. They're just there to kind of be there, kind of thing. But I feel like they've done a pretty good job. I like him. I like him and his dad. I like Paul, his father.
Paul,
I think he's got a little more, he's definitely flawed. He's not you know, this quote unquote whatever a perfect dad is supposed to be kind of thing. But I like that he's got this weird dynamic with his son or whatever, you know. And then when he's talking to, I don't know what they call him, the monkey man or whatever, that one guy that, you know, helped that escaped with them. Yeah, and they're in a bar, and he's just talking with them, and he's like, you know, he's still a kid, you know, no matter what. Yeah. And, you know, they're kind of having this argument, and he kind of realizes, like, maybe I was wrong to, you know, go after my son the way I did. You know, I should just be glad he's safe and sound kind of thing.
Right,
you know? So, so some of that aspects of it I did like as well, too. But
there's more characters. Like the next part he ends up with in the second season. There's some characters in there that are pretty cool. Yeah. Like that you end up liking a little bit more as that season goes on. Some character kind of like a misdirect on who's important in some of those episodes, which is kind of cool.
Right on.
They're like, animation style was cool, like you were saying. Kind of a little thing that I liked was that in the opening or end credits, it wasn't just like the same one over and over and over.
Yeah, that's true.
Like scenes from,
I never skipped it. I wanted to watch each one. Yeah, especially the intros. The intros always were.
It was usually like transitions to how they got to where they were, which is a really good way of doing the intro music. Because I always would skip.
Right.
I always watch them one time and the ending credit one time just to hear the song and whatever.
Exactly.
And then I always skip after that. But this was like they actually show important parts of the story in the opening credits and some of the ending credits. After a while, the ending credits became the same. But the beginning credits, you kind of you should watch. Yeah, it kind of felt like a movie kind of. Each time. So
a
bit
of a montage kind of thing going on. Yeah.
So that was kind of like a little extra thing that like a little extra touch that they added. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I liked how some of the some of the extra characters kind of tied in with each other. Like that one horse character that was like this obnoxious jerk,
really
like
piece of crap.
Yeah, really piece of crap. But he knew Roxy, and I guess I guess he was better now. Yeah, you know, especially after after his run-in with Dead End.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that was I like those little tie-ins like that. I thought that was cool too.
They did shift in your perspective on who these people are.
And again, I feel like I sensed it more. I got a feel for it more because this was based on a novel, you know, like it's almost like, you know, like when you're a kid, if anybody, you know, was trying to get a picture of this novel, it's almost like Little House on the Prairie kind of thing. I'm imagining where you open it and there's pictures inside of it. Yeah. It's a novel, but there's pictures as well. So that's kind of what it was. That's kind of the original source material, just to kind of put in perspective for anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think, you know, when you have a novel like that, you can, I don't want to say you tend to think it out more, but it, like I said, it felt like it was a novel that got turned into, you know,
kind of flowed like that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, negatives.
Cool. Again, I'm going back into like how this isn't really my type of movie, and I think it stems from. I already said like fantasies. I think fantasy anime isn't really my thing, but this type of anime, I feel like I've seen a lot. Yeah. I've seen a few episodes here and there of like the time I was reincarnated as a slime, or like it's wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon, or those types of anime. Like
Shield, was it the Shield Hero? I don't know if you've seen that one. Yeah.
No, I didn't see it, but like
that's pretty good.
I've seen a few episodes here and there of that style of anime, and they're all in this box. Like they're all similar. They're kind of quirky. They're kind of these quirky animes with like a little bit of a hook of a different concept about what this is, and then it just kind of runs with that. And like that type of anime, I know it's popular now because now I'm seeing it more, and after watching this, I know it's really popular. And this is kind of like a quirky style of anime, whatever the case is, and that's popular. I'm not a giant fan of it. It seems kind of gimmicky to me.
Well, it's like I was saying at the beginning, though. I feel like it's just a genre, though.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that genre to me is kind of gimmicky, I think. Because it seems like a lot of them don't. They just kind of introduce that concept, and then it's just back to fighting monsters in the dungeon or whatever, going on this quest.
It's about the guy being like he's OP.
Yeah, exactly. And so it doesn't feel like really interesting to me. So I felt that way through a lot of this show. Yeah. And like maybe the first like 15 episodes or 16 episodes of him just learning magic and growing up. Yeah. Felt really like very like done before. Yeah. So it kind of took me a while to really get. I mean, it helped that we only had 2 days to watch all the episodes, or 3 days when we decided to do this episode. So it helped that I had to get through them all. Yeah. But it was like the first maybe more than half. I was like, this is kind of not doing much for me. Yeah. I did like you were saying, when the dragon guy showed up, you tried to learn more about the world and more of the connection to his old world too. Like that was really interesting. But again, the most of it was kind of like it felt very done before.
Yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, there's not like for lack of a better term, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's that, and then I mean that was the big one. I couldn't really get excited about it. There were those moments with fight scenes and the animation got real sharp and stylized, and I really enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah,
kind of got me a little bit more excited about getting back into anime again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall it was kind of hard to really enjoy it.
Yeah,
and I see why it's popular. I guess I can kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
but maybe I'm getting old, or this is just not my style of anime that I would be into typically.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think before, like if I had tried watching this like maybe a year or two ago, I might have thought the same thing. Like, you know, I'm tired of watching this because I know there was a point in time where I was watching and, you know, reading mangas, and I was pretty much, I think, within that shonen category. And everything I kept seeing, I was like, okay, oh, well, that's that. You know, next one. Okay, well, that's clearly that. You know what I mean? I could see, you know, things where, okay, that's just, you're clearly ripping off Naruto. You know what I mean? Or here, you're clearly ripping off One Piece. Or if you're a fan of Fairy Tail, you're ripping off One Piece and Naruto. Yeah, I said it. So, you know, it was stuff like that. And again, and then I think I was watching, I want to say it's called Black Clover, and I felt like, okay, this kid he's Naruto. He's this, you know, this outcast, like, you know, little knucklehead that, you know, is not really good at anything, but he's got like this weapon of mass destruction hidden inside of him or whatever. He's got this friend who's, you know, better than he is, and everybody loves him. You know, it's clearly like this Naruto Sasuke dynamic kind of thing. But of course, the power that the main character has inside of him is like this great power that allows him to, you know, kind of take on anybody for the most part, you know.
If he learns how to hone it, he'll be
if he learns how to hone it, he'll be that much better, right? So it was like, well, I've seen that before with Naruto, so why am I going to watch this again? Kind of thing, you know, just reformatted. So I understand, I get that thing about, you know, it's all kind of the same stuff, and these types of stories, like I said, they all kind of do the same thing. A guy he's always hit by a car or something. You know, there's always, whenever somebody dies, they're always hit by a car. They're taken to another world and they have their memories, and for whatever reason, they are just more powerful than everybody else. They've got some sort of cheat code in life or whatever. So I don't know, maybe there's something about people wanting to have a leg up on everybody else. Maybe that's part of the draw of it. You know, you get to kind of live vicariously through, like, oh, if I got sucked into
I'd do the same thing.
Right. Or I'd be more powerful than everybody else because I'm smarter, because I know more than everybody else. Or, you know, I would take advantage of the girls wearing, you know, next to nothing all the time. Like, why are you running around like that? I mean, it looks great, but why are you doing that? It's freezing outside. So, So I understand where you're coming from. And I guess my justification for it, and maybe I shouldn't give it a justification, is that it's what it is within that lane. Yeah. So, but I get it though. If you know, you're in that lane, you just don't like that lane.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be more. But I think there's a lot of these shows that people really do love, and I get it. That's cool because that's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you're into that type of genre.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. You know?
Right. And if you see it again, you're like, yeah, let's do it again kind of thing. That's cool.
Yeah, for me, but that's not my genre. I think typically most of those shows I don't like.
Yeah.
So I think it wouldn't matter really what type of plate you serve to me on. It's gonna be the same roast beef. I like roast beef, but you know, it's the same thing. You know, you say You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. So that's my thing. But I mean, there weren't things I didn't hate it, but there weren't like a lot of things I loved about it either. You know, the storytelling was great, like we talked about, but some of the characters were okay, but I just couldn't get into it, man.
I hear you.
Really like,
Well, I will say too, it took me a while to get into it. I know when I was watching, I think like up to like the first maybe 8 episodes, man, I felt like I was like squirming. Yeah. You know, trying to watch it. You know, it was it was a little slow. I mean, now having finished the whole thing, I feel like I kind of get it, because I don't think there was anything necessarily like really wasted. I don't think there was any real wasted time in it. Like when he's training with Roxy, for example, and clearly kind of perving on her. Even the maid that was there was like, you know what, your son creeps me out because he's kind of he's looking at me in a a way that a kid should not be looking at a person.
Yeah.
You know, but it all kind of it pays off later.
Yeah.
And again, like his relationship with Roxy, his teacher at the time, that comes into play, you know, throughout the series.
Right.
And then it's going to come into play later. Like I said, I kind of, read kind of like what happens overall, just doing like some research into it. So she definitely has a role in that to come. So I got it. So once it was all said and done. So like I said, if anyone wants to watch it, it might be a little tough watching the first part, but I would say if you're interested in watching it, watch it and just kind of get through it. I think once you take it all in, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, there are a lot of good things to glean from it, especially if you get through all of it. There's a lot of great nuggets in there that you'll pull out. Okay, I understand what the point of this is.
Yeah, everything kind of ties into something someplace else,
which is nice.
You get to see where Grisane comes from.
Yeah.
You get to see where Roxy comes from. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
It's very nice. Do we see those payoffs too? Yeah, and it all works. It works.
Right.
Yeah, it does work. Which I did like, but there's another thing that and I guess I kind of forgot about it as the show went on, but he did seem really skeevy for most of the time.
Big time.
Like very perverted, I guess, for the most part.
Right.
And it didn't seem like he was a very stand-up person at the beginning. And so he would be thinking something in his mind.
Yeah.
Then he'd say like the right thing. Like he'd say the nice thing, but he'd be thinking like the opposite thing. Like he'd think something gross or whatever. But then he'd say the right, like, polite thing, and it's like, okay, that worked, and then he'd say it back like, oh, that worked, okay, that works here or whatever, and then it seemed like he was pretty skeevy most of the time. So I wondered why he kept being polite and nice all the time,
right,
to where it kind of seemed like that's who he always was the whole time, also kind of perverted, or like I couldn't really figure out why he was like being so nice and friendly and opposite of who he seemed like he was in his old life. When he still kind of was like skeevy and gross a lot of the time too, you know what I mean? So I was trying to see like, why was he being so like valiant and so this and that in this life when he still has these like pretty bad thoughts about,
And I kind of chalk that up to almost like any human being or any person, right? Like I think most people, will try to do the right thing. I don't think it's that uncommon for someone to have like, some sort of like pervy or skeevy thoughts in the back of their mind, but you don't act on it. I think you knew enough not to act on it. It came off, the biggest thing for me that came off as weird about that is that he was a 30 plus year old man having these thoughts about essentially about, kids,
right.
And again, just and I don't know, I'm really trying to like, what would you do? Like, how would you do if you were to start over again? You know what I mean? Would you, I can't wrap my head around it.
It's a weird place to go.
Again, and maybe it's not meant to be taken that seriously. Maybe that's something to think about too. It's just, he's a kind of a pervy guy and he's into chicks, he's into girls, not necessarily little girls, I mean to say, but he's into girls. And he's a little boy, and now he's got a chance to, whatever.
To live that fantasy he wanted when he was a kid,
And and again, maybe it's not something to really think about too much. Maybe it's just meant to be a joke. Maybe in the Japanese culture, maybe when you see some of that, you just laugh about it.
Right.
Maybe you just don't take it that seriously. Like I said, but to me, it came off as it.
A little problematic for sure.
Yeah, a little problematic.
But that, what I'm getting at though is like why, like it seemed like I didn't see why he transitioned to becoming this great hero and kind of like a respected hero. And in his mind, he was also like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. I'm saving people. I'm valiant. I'm this guy. And I don't know why he became that guy, or kind of how there wasn't like a turning point for him to become like that great honorable warrior. When he was kind of just a pervy dude the whole time, being kind of gross, and like having like conversations in his own mind about like, oh, I should say this because that's what they want to hear, versus saying what I'm actually thinking. But was he always just a good guy that wanted to be a hero? Or
I'm thinking
I was trying to find that character building.
Maybe one way you could see that was when you go back to his past life and when he got in trouble for, so to speak, or what he got beat up for in the first place. Like, I mean, he wasn't really like, really like sticking up for anybody. He was trying to stop somebody from doing something that, that wasn't right.
Right.
Like
that's true.
Right.
No,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like he'd stop someone from like stealing. He stopped one from like, hey, don't cut in line. There are other people in line here. Don't cut in front of them. And he paid a hell of a price for doing that. So I think maybe it was always there. And so I think there's that to keep into
That's
account.
true.
Yeah. But also maybe the fact that he was raised, he had a father that was this noble, noble-ish, kind of guy. Like he definitely has some major faults with him. You know what I mean? He has some major faults, and Rudy kind of came to his defense at some point. And I thought that was really interesting when that happened in the series too. It's like, what? Like, one, you're just gonna announce it right here at the table? Okay, thanks for that, by the way. And then, that I did not see that coming when that happened. I think that was that episode 8. I don't think it was that late. It's probably happened sooner.
I think it's in that.
Yeah, but I think that's when I started like, okay, this just got a little interesting because this isn't something that normally comes up in an anime, and then dealing with the consequences of it.
Yeah,
and the consequences seemed like they were kind of light in that sense. It's like we don't get to see the real, coming to peace with it. They're next thing you know, they're just all kind of,
living happily.
They're all happily. Yeah, it's like everyone's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do I know?
Yeah.
But I think I feel like he's always been a decent person, or at least he's wanted to be decent and strong. He wanted to be a good person. Yeah. He's always had the perverted thoughts. He's always been into girls. He's always wanted to do that. And it's something that he's always missed out on throughout his whole life. So maybe he's become a little more obsessed with it, having an opportunity to do it.
That's true.
So there's that to keep in mind. But I think most people probably have, like, they might do the right thing, but somewhere in the back of their mind, they have, you know, raunchy thoughts, dirty thoughts, whatever the case
that's absolutely
may be.
true. I agree with that too. That's what I was seeing. I guess there is that scene where when he does get beat up for trying to stand up, to some bullies. Yeah. So I guess you can see that maybe he does have some of those traits. Yeah. But it just kind of
he doesn't have the power to like do anything.
Yeah. So it just kind of happened gradually that he actually truly became that valiant warrior versus, just a regular dude.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yes, I wonder like where that happened. Yeah. But I mean,
I think maybe just having the power to do something
probably
is a
gave
big
you the confidence.
Too, you know? Because when he was dealing with the bullies, like he clearly couldn't do anything, against these bullies. And that always comes into play. Maybe that's probably a big reason why whenever you see these, reincarnated stories, whatever they get reincarnated into, they're always OP. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's always kind of the same thing. They have like a kind of a humdrum life or whatever. Yeah. But
a little bit of a second chance to live it differently.
And now you've got an advantage over most people. So
true. Yeah, it doesn't make sense though. Other than that, though, any other negatives?
Not really. I think that was my biggest one. Yeah. I think.
What would you? So what are you gonna rate this one at?
Actually, I do recommend it. It was a little, like I said, it was a little tough. It was a little tough watching at first. Yeah. And like I said, it is very, it's very creepy, but it's also it's pretty controversial. Like just not even here, like even in other places. It's drawing some attention for good and bad reasons. Yeah. I would think maybe if you are into anime or if you want to check out anime, it's worth checking out. I think it's definitely not for kids. If you have kids that might want to watch it, I suggest you check it out first. Yeah. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, just skip around and watch some episodes. I think pretty much any episode you turn into, you're going to catch something. There's going to be something that's going to be like, do I want my kid to see this or not? Right. And again, it's nothing like in your face. It's nothing. Gratuitous or whatever, but again, this guy is pretty raunchy.
Yeah. And there are some you hear a lot of sounds.
That's true. A lot of sounds. You do hear a lot of sounds. A lot of sounds, and a lot of like thinly veiled of what's going on. Right. Very thinly veiled.
So I'd watch out for that as well. And also, if this is like the first anime you're ever gonna check out, maybe not do this one. Okay. I think this might throw you off of like, this is what everybody watches on anime. This is why everyone loves anime. Like it's a weirder one to get into because of that stuff. I think.
But I don't know. I mean, I heard people like sex, so maybe that that might be something that hooks you. I think it depends on how old you are. I don't want to say your maturity level kind of thing, but
I like part of it though.
Yeah. It's definitely, like I said, it's not for kids. Like if you're 20, if you're like somewhere like maybe like 17 and up. Yeah. Maybe I'd maybe say 17 and up. you could probably, watch this. Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that's aimed at, teens and young adults.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think if you were going to read the novel of this, it's probably one of those things you would find in the young adult section.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
It's not anything that's really deep.
Yeah.
But it's not anything for kids either.
Yeah, not really. Yeah. So I guess I'd say like, if you like, if you're in a church youth group, maybe this isn't for you to watch. This is your first anime.
Don't do that.
But if you're, if you're a regular adult, and you can understand what the point is.
Yeah,
of the
you can
show,
handle that kind of thing. And,
then go for it. I think it's a pretty decent anime. It's not my favorite thing I've seen ever.
Yeah.
But I am glad to get back into anime to see what's been going on in this world.
And I'm curious about watching the rest of it. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, where you at? Stream it or?
I would say, man, I know I made up that list of criteria. I would say. I would say stream it. I'm going to say stream it. It's a little controversial. It's a little weird and crazy. Yeah. But I like weird and crazy. Not necessarily like the pervy aspects of it.
Yeah.
Or like the grown man pervy aspects of it. But other than that, I think
if there's regular pervy, you're cool, right?
Yeah, regular pervy, I'm down with.
Yeah.
I'm down with. I got no issues with. But I'm gonna recommend it. I'm gonna recommend it. I don't necessarily would say drop what you're doing kind of thing, but I would put it like right underneath drop what you're doing and put it on your list kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's worth watching if you're a young adult. I think you would probably be able to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like just hold on to your seat when it gets into those weird moments.
Yeah, maybe watch with some headphones on, just in case. Don't watch it on loud on the TV in the family living room.
Yeah. Like I said, and it's not all throughout it, but it just kind of pops up here.
Yeah, it's just if you're not if you're hearing it from another room, you're like, what the hell are you watching? You don't know what they're watching.
Right.
Then it's gonna and it's gonna be hard to explain yourself.
Yeah.
No, that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
Sure,
that's,
Junior.
That's exactly what it is. But again, like I said, they don't see anything. It's just you just hear the sounds.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
So watch it with the earbuds.
Yeah.
But I'm probably at stream it as well. I think I think there's a lot to take from it.
Yeah.
I think it's really popular because of some of the story aspects, but also the animation style has been praised.
Yeah, right on.
So I think, and I agree with that 100%. Animation is great. And I actually really like modern animation. Like I think it looks crisp and good. I think I talked about it one time before, but FLCL Fully Cooley was like the first one I really noticed, like the jump from like hand drawn to like 3D animation or like a little more modern animation. Yeah. And it's just crisp and nice, and I like that when it comes to anime. So that visually is very pleasing to me.
Yeah.
Cool, I think for at least for that. Watch it for that.
Percentage?
I'll probably sit right at a 70.
Okay.
70, 71. Like it's a cool show, some cool things about it. And I'm interested to see the actual bigger story about these people coming from modern day Japan to this world, and see more about that and why that's going on. That's kind of what's catching my interest now, and also these god heroes or the dragon god,
exactly,
and the other 6,
man god,
there's like 6 more of them.
Yeah,
the like
god technique and all the other stuff.
Who the hell? What does that even mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't even know. And then apparently they're saying like there's one that's like the dragon god's number 2. The guy above, there's another guy above him. So I'm really curious to see like who are these other people.
I want to say that's God Technique or
God Technique. I think I think that's what they're saying. It was both. But they're like, but in a straight up fight, the Dragon God would probably win. But there's some reason he's number whatever. There's more lore that I want to get into that I'm curious about as well. But maybe 71, 72.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you?
I think I might give it like an 80. Somewhere between like maybe like an 82, 83.
Gotcha.
I might even go so high as to go 85, I think, because I did like it. I did. The characters were they're pretty cliche.
Yeah.
A lot of the main characters are kind of cliche, especially like Eris.
Yeah, very
like
tropey.
The pouty. Yeah, very much so. But I did like the Sewards, the whatever that guy's name was that was in their party.
Superds, yeah.
Superd, yeah. I liked his character. He was very, this is what I'm about. This is what I do.
I kind of like you find out why their reputation is what it is too. It was just kind of like you get it.
Yeah.
You get the reputation, but also not quite their fault.
Exactly.
Completely their fault. You know what I mean? So
I bet the world doesn't really know that whole story.
Exactly.
I bet, but. Yeah, because I like I said, I think this is worth watching. Yeah, so I think I'll go with an 85. I'll say 85.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
recommend it.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for that then, I guess.
Yeah, let's
wrap
wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. We're getting a little long here, but anything we're into this week?
No, I was watching this Mushoku Tensei. I was watching this.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of it, man. I had to watch it in like 2 days, so
a
lot of cramming. But I did watch a few episodes of Seinfeld at the beginning of the week. I've actually never seen the whole show. I've seen episodes here and there.
Oh, really?
So the whole thing's on Netflix. I've been watching. I think I watched 4 or 5 episodes of it.
Yeah.
It's a little dated, but it is funny though.
Yeah.
There are a lot of funny moments, and like the creativity in the comedy is what you take.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can still watch Seinfeld and enjoy it 110%.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where if it's on and they're showing like back-to-back episodes,
you're probably watching.
I can't do it because I will sit there and watch.
Oh, gotcha,
especially when the next episode's coming on. Like, I know what happens this episode. I'm like, and it's gold when you're watching it. It's fantastic. So that's one of the favorites, man.
Yeah, it's super funny, man. And it's very very creatively funny, which I appreciate when it comes to comedy. Like jokes and one-liners are cool, but like the situations, the creative situations that are funny are what I love. And Seinfeld capitalizes on that a lot. Yeah, the situations, which is great.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good show. I've been watching that a little bit, but other than that, nothing much else. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. I'm trying to think. I feel like I don't think I watched anything else. Yeah.
Very cool.
But it's all good. It's all good.
Guess that's gonna do it then. Next week, if everything is scheduled on the anime releases, because sometimes these things get delayed. But next week we're covering Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War Part 2.
Part 2, everybody. Bleach.
Part 2. Yeah.
You know you like it.
And it's I'm caught up. Well, the new episode came out today.
Okay.
But I'm caught up to that point, and it's pretty good. There's a lot of cool stuff in it.
Right on.
Again, Bleach isn't your thing, I think.
Not at all.
But it starts off a little slow.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty good so far. So
cool.
I'm enjoying it, and there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of unfortunate things happen too.
Right on.
Yeah, but I'll let you get to that.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to follow along with that next week, we're covering Bleach, man. Back-to-back animes.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Yeah, for all people.
Were there any shout-outs that we did? Did we skip the shout-outs? Because I know I did one, but then I kept on.
We did skip shout-outs. I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah, we'll just have more next time.
Yeah, we'll have a double over next week. Yeah, for sure.
Right
well, I think that's it though, huh?
Yes, let's wrap it up, man.
Yeah, we're getting a little long here. Back to our old days.
Well done.
So yeah. Anyway, thanks for checking us out.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we love doing this, so hopefully you guys keep checking us out.
Yeah.
And watching the show. But
right on.
Anyway, my name's Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this is
Geek Off The Street.
And cut. Now we're starting to just freeze. Are we waiting for someone to say cut? Or
Yeah,
what?
right.
Who's
Somebody.
Cut? Back there. Hey, producer.
Hey.
Say cut.
Hey, now you're fired.
Yeah.
You're hired. You want that job? You got that job. You're hired.
Yeah.
New York, man.